Yo, welcome to Starbucks, powered by Chris Gates Fitness. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, Jim Rosati. Jim, fresh from Chicago, watching that Cubs series. What's up, my man?
What's going on? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. I'm still remote location. So
yes, you are. I was going to say, so you were there at the Cubs game on Saturday and yesterday, Sunday. You got to witness the catch, and then you got to witness an actual win, a big dub. So congrats.
Yeah, no, it was a fun weekend in Chicago. Weather was amazing. Saturday, the game went by really fast. The offense wasn't great, but the pitching, Bailey Falter, just what a start. So I can now say I witnessed, I think, Bailey Falter's maybe greatest start of his entire life. So that's neat. That's a neat accomplishment there.
That's neat.
But yesterday's game was absolutely great. Really, really good game all around. Offense was putting people on the base paths. They were scoring some runs. Probably more runs that they could have scored. Yeah. There were plenty of opportunities that they squandered, but good pitching, good bullpen work. The bullpen kind of came in and did exactly what you hoped them to do. Yesterday was a win where it worked out in a way you'd like to work out, like that Holderman, Chapman, Bednar. Starter goes 6 strong. Holderman, Chapman, Bednar come in and close it out. So that was a really, really fun game.
I would talk about the series in general, because everything you said kind of sums up the entire series. They won 3 out of 4. When you look at it, they won 5-4, 9-3, 0-1, right? The Saturday game we all know about, and then 3-2. The offense starting to creep up and come alive. The pitching has to keep on trending, right? Has been really, really good. 10 runs they gave up in the entire series. So I've been kind of encouraged about this team. Let's put it this way. Since, I'm saying obviously it's correlation, right? But since Paul Skeens and Nick Gonzalez have arrived at PNC Park, this team has been a little bit different. Now, obviously adding Paul Skeens, and you saw you witnessed, well, you didn't physically witness, but you witnessed what he saw, what he did his last time out, right? The first 7 outs were all strikeouts. He looked phenomenal. We said it'd be crazy to put the expectations of Jared Jones in front of Paul Skeens because he's still a rookie, still coming up and making his debut and learning MLB. And then you saw what he did, and now you're just kind of well, you know what? Maybe we're foolish. Maybe Paul Skeens is that dude. And with Nick Gonzalez, he's come up and he's shown every bit of, you know what? This guy's playing like a major leaguer. He's kind of been a spark to this offense. 10 RBIs already since coming up. I feel like he's been unlucky. And Yark, this is for you. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Yark. So here's your birthday gift. Gonzalez has kind of been unlucky, Kutch, to that degree. It's short sample right now, but he's been looking better than what the numbers even support. And the numbers are actually pretty good.
I think those 2 moves have kind of sparked this team, like you mentioned. Nick Gonzalez has been an extremely welcome addition to the lineup. He's putting good swings on balls. Probably still could do a little bit better against breaking pitches. You see him chasing some breaking balls that you would like to see him lay off. But when he's getting a fastball, he's turning them around and he's hitting them hard. like line drives up the middle. He's got 2 homers already in this past week. He's had a really nice week when you were needing some offense out of that spot, because second base has been a black hole up to this point with Jared Triolo. So yeah, very, very welcome addition with Nick Gonzalez. He had a really good weekend. He had a really good week overall. You love to see the power. The team actually, they're starting to click a little bit offensively. And I know it's weird, but like Nick Gonzalez he's kind of, when we talked about this lineup coming into this year, we talked about like the length of it, right? And then once the year started going, it was like, where is this length? There is none. It was like whoever's 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, like you felt comfortable with. But then after that, it was like, well, good luck, 5 through 9. But Nicky G's come in. He's added a little bit more length to the lineup. He's been hitting out of that 5 spot a lot, and yeah, he's putting good at bats together, putting good swings on balls, coming through like with runners in scoring position and driving in runs. You mentioned 10 RBIs. He's at 8 RBIs, sorry. But in 10 games played, like that's a hell of a pace he's at right now. So yeah, very good start to his 2024 campaign.
Right. For sure. And just so you do know, of course, Bet Online is your number 1 source for all summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow for your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. We talked about Cutchins, like, well, let's look at the Baseball Savant page and kind of see like what he's been doing, right? And we see the numbers, and it's very Kutch-esque. That's what I want to compare this to, and also preferences, right? Like, it is small sample. Kutch is like a month long. This is a week essentially, but like when you look at what he is doing, right? 16% barrel rate, 40% hard hit rate. His average exit velocity 93.7. I mean, this is all extremely high percentile as far as MLB goes. Like, his expected slugging 546. Like, it's everything we're talking about Kutch. But again, like, his numbers also are good, right? Like, we're not saying like he's failing. He actually is doing good, but he probably could be doing better, based on what he's been doing. And yesterday was like a good example of that as well. So I'm not here to say Nick Gonzalez is the answer. He's your everyday second baseman. But, we were skeptical on what Nick Gonzalez is. And, should he, not so much should he make his debut, but if he makes his debut, what's that going to translate into as far as MLB? What's going to happen? And I even said, I was like, at the very least, he can come up and just continue this hot streak and be good for 2 weeks. Maybe that's enough to spark the offense. I mean, he's showing that it's probably kind of legit, like you talked, but it has sparked the offense. And hey, you know what? They won their first series since April 5th through 7th against the Orioles. Their first series, and it was a 4-game series, right? I mean, they went 4-3 this week. I'm feeling a little bit better about these Pirates right now.
Yeah. I mean, and those were 7 games on the road too. So against the first and second place teams in your division. So
right.
You put together good games, and also every single game was like very competitive. Like they were in every single game. The games they lost were even games that they had chances to win, right?
Outside the Martin Perez Brewers game, I'll say.
Okay, yeah,
that was a stinker.
No, you're right. So 6 out of 7 games, extremely competitive. You're hoping this offense is turning a corner. Obviously they were shut down by Imanaga on Saturday. I guess if you have a bright side to look at, everybody's been shut down by Imanaga. Like, no matter who they've been, you would have liked to have seen the Pirates kind of bounce on them a little bit. But yeah, he looked really, really good. He looks like he's going to be a problem, for a lot of teams in this division.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see the offense starting to click. You see the pitching staff and just like what they can accomplish with the way that it's currently constructed too. Like this Chicago Cubs series, Jones, Skeens, Keller, they win all their games. Like Jones, Skeens, Keller, win, 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 right? Bailey Falter pitched great, didn't come up with the win. But you've got those three guys now in here where you can reasonably expect to win the games that they're pitching. Obviously, you're not going to win them all, but if those three guys can give you good baseball from here on out, you're going to pick up some wins between the other two in your rotation. I know, we talked about it a little bit this weekend after the Skeens game, but like that third National League wild card spot is up for grabs. The National League is not good. There are pretty clear 5 teams that are like kind of heads and shoulders above everybody else. But that 6th spot, that third wild card, it is completely up for grabs. I think the Pirates are a game and a half back right now as the current standings are. But they're in the thick of things which is incredible just based off of how bad they've played for the first, 2 months of the season. They are absolutely still in this thing. And you like the way they are positioning themselves with this pitching rotation. And the hitting has to start coming around at some point. And you're starting to see kind of maybe just the beginning signs of that.
Yeah, and you say like it has to start coming around, and that's what I want to talk a little bit about here. Since Nick Gonzalez arrived, since Paul Skeens arrived, I'm just adding Paul Skeens because the Paul Skeens effect is absolutely a thing. But since they arrived, the Pittsburgh Pirates offense is 10th in MLB, right? We're talking about a 113 weighted runs created plus. This is the offense that we keep poo-pooing on that since this Phillies series began, right? And you saw how they were exposed and how awful it's been. We're talking about the worst offense in baseball. We're talking about like a 60, I think at one point it was a 62 weighted runs created plus in that time span. It's almost doubled. It's gone from like the 62 mark. And again, this past week, since Nick Gonzalez has arrived and doing what he's doing, catching the leadoff spot, doing what he's doing, Ono Cruz is back, right? A 113 weighted runs created plus. Jim, you want me to tell you the probably the most remarkable stat of that all? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what the Pittsburgh Pirates are doing in this time frame. 18 home runs. They lead MLB. They lead Major League Baseball in home runs in this time frame by 2. The Yankees are in second place with 16. And then it goes to the Boston Red Sox at 12. The Pittsburgh Pirates are hitting the ball over the fence at a tremendous rate.
So you
all the way back, baby.
I think you tweeted this out yesterday. And when you did, I almost couldn't believe it. I looked it up just to make sure you weren't wrong, because you're known for just being completely wrong on statistics. And
let's talk about Ono Cruz's slash line.
Yeah, I mean, pretty incredible. They're hitting the ball well. Now they've been playing in some pretty hitter friendly parks this past week. But I'll say this, Wrigley yesterday.
Oh yeah.
It was extremely difficult to hit the ball over the fence yesterday at Wrigley Field. The wind was it was a very hard wind and it was blowing in. That O'Neill Cruz ball, I have no idea how that ball didn't go over the fence. Like the fact that got hung up in the wind yesterday. Off the bat, I was just like, there's no way this ball's not over. And the wind just killed it.
Held it 35 feet shorter than what it should have gone.
Yeah.
Wind aided out.
I think Ethan from Rum Bunter, he put out a stat that since StatCast started tracking balls, like 700 something balls have been hit 113 miles an hour and gone at least 400 feet. And O'Neill Cruz's ball yesterday was the second one that was an out out of like 700, which
the
expected batting average on it was 980. So, I mean,
and that's the funny thing. Like it still traveled 400 feet. Like this ball was killed by the wind and it traveled 400 feet. That's how much that was smoked. And then the other one like got stuck in the ivy he hit. Uh, Again, like the numbers for him haven't been all that great the past few games per se, but he's still smoking the ball.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
that's what I want to talk about, right? And we mentioned here, like Kutch at leadoff is doing fantastic. A 141 weighted runs created plus in the leadoff spot this year. And again, that's with the bad luck we've talked about. It's turned a bit more lately for him, so that's good. That's a good sign. That's what we talked about because there's good reason to believe that Andrew McCutchen's not going to stay as awful as he's been. Now a 102 weighted runs created plus for the entire season, so he's now officially an above average hitter. But he's doing his thing in the leadoff spot. You have Brian Reynolds, you have Connor Joe, you have O'Neill Cruz, all doing their thing right now. Add Nicky G in there. Edward Olivares actually also playing pretty well. So as you're talking about this lineup stretching to 6 guys opposed to just 3, very encouraging. Joey Bart doing some things. Hey, like even Yasmani Grandal is coming through offensively. I mean, if anything, he's driving in runs. He's coming up pretty clutch here.
Mm-hmm.
If they can just replace Rowdy with literally anything, you know what I mean? Like this offense improves even further. That's why I say like there are some very encouraging signs about this team that I'm enjoying right now.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to talk about Rowdy just for like 5 minutes? Because I feel like we've hit. I think this is the breaking point. I think we are officially there today. Like I think today is the day or tomorrow. Like I don't think Rowdy Tellez, and this is just complete pure speculation. I haven't heard anything. I have no inside information on this, but I think the Pirates have finally hit the breaking point with Rowdy Tellez. I mean, 44 games now, 128 plate appearances, 1 home run. He has a 41 weighted runs created plus a negative 0.9 F WAR. In yesterday's game, he had ample opportunities to just do something. And in his 4, I think he went 0 for 4 yesterday with 6 outs made. 2 double plays, a big strikeout with a runner on third. Like it was pathetic. Like he was terrible. And it's just, I think it's just been stacking. I don't think Rowdy Tellez is a Pirate come tomorrow, first pitch against the San Francisco Giants.
He now has 128 plate appearances. Players in Major League Baseball with at least 100 plate appearances. He ranks 251 out of 261 guys with his 41 weighted runs created plus, Jim. That's your first baseman. This isn't the backup catcher. This isn't Austin Hedges. This isn't also a guy that's like, well, you know what? He's got to be there for his defense. He's got a negative 0.9 WAR. Sound familiar? Yes, because that's what he had last year when we talked about the signing and said, what are you doing, Ben? So now he has matched his total value of 2023 with a negative 0.9 WAR. He's costing the Pirates basically a full game. It's a complete black hole. He's totally inept. A 181 hitter, 250 on base. He's slugging 233. Your power guy, the guy that you brought in because, hey, he can hit 30 bombs, is slugging 233. O'Neill Cruz's batting average is better. Take that. What do you want, guys? Does O'Neill stink because he can't hit, or does Rowdy Tellez stink because he has no power? Yeah. That's where we stand with your 2024 Pittsburgh Pirates first baseman in the year that you decide that you want to contend. He's got to go. He absolutely has to, and that's why the whole talk about Jake Lamb, whatever, it's virtually just bring in anything. We don't care at this point in time. Jake Lamb is only going to be a short-term fix, but anything that you bring in has to be an upgrade. Like that's how bad it is. It doesn't matter who you bring something, because that thing will be an upgrade and make the team better until you find the full-term solution.
Yeah, and I think today or tomorrow is the move. I could also potentially see them maybe waiting until Hayes is back. I hope they don't wait that long, because I don't think Hayes is really starting to do baseball activities until today or tomorrow.
I think, yeah.
So So like he's probably got another week or so. I don't know if I can take another week of Rowdy Tellez. I don't know if I could do it. I can't do it.
This team, the way they're playing right now, does not deserve Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah, like they need to do something. Like he's not doing his part, right? I think the baseball move, and this is just speculating on what we've talked a lot about Jake Lamb, right? And the one guy we haven't talked about just because none of us personally like the guy. I think the baseball move to make here is probably Ji-hwan Bae. And then using Connor Joe as your everyday first baseman with days off if you need him to get a day off. You plug Triolo in there right now. Like I think that's the baseball move to make. I don't think they're going to go that Jake Lamb route. They could. The 40-man spots are available, so especially once you DFA Rowdy, you'll have another one. So like they could go that route. But I could also see them going Bae just because he has been playing really, really well in AAA. And he adds a little bit more versatility than someone like Jake Lamb does. He's not necessarily good at any of that versatile stuff. We've seen him play pretty bad defense all across the field. We've seen him do stupid things on the base paths. I don't have faith that Ji-hwan Bae is a much better hitter than Rowdy Tellez, to be honest with you. But
yes, I do.
I think he's better than like what we've seen from Tellez. But I do think I think Ji-hwan Bae is the baseball move to make. I would prefer to see Jake Lamb, but we'll see what happens. I can't see Rowdy Tellez anymore on this team.
Yeah, you pretty much hit everything. I'm not going to go too deep on that, but that's essentially where I'm at. I feel like it's going to be one of those two. I think the thing is, if not Lamb, then it's like just Connor Joe who really knows first base. You're assuming Triolo, and I'm sure he can. He's a Gold Glover, right? But he's not really like a first baseman by trade. It's like the depth at first base kind of worries me in that sense. And having Bae up, that's an outfielder, but is it? I question, and this is just I don't know yet. He could be. He could prove us wrong, but we saw the experience last year, and I feel like he's better in the outfield than second base. I'll give him that. I thought he's athletic enough that he could probably learn it, but it was pretty bad. But yeah, it kind of worries me in that sense. Like, how is he going to be defensively? Is he going to cost things in the field? But in the same sense, aren't they on the outfield outside of Michael A. Taylor? So it's like, you know what? Just get him up here. Yeah, but I think it's going to be either or. Lamb just makes like the sense and the fit of it's just replacing what Rowdy is for another person of that. Bae makes sense of that way. Connor Joe goes mostly full-time first base, which he kind of has been for the most part anyways. And then Bae gets another outfielder out there. So maybe that's less of Sawinski and such too. Either way, I think a move like that has to happen. You have today's an off day. Figure it out. Get the move there. Rowdy's got to go. He's just costing your team right now, and that they're playing too well to do that. Like, what if Rowdy wasn't there? What if you had some other option on Saturday and you're able to manage one run off Imanaga and get that win, right? And now you swept the Cubs. Bailey Falter pitches his ass off, and his offense was able to help him out and get him the win that he deserved and earned. So that Rowdy has to go.
Yeah, I have officially seen enough of Rowdy Tellez. So, we want to get to our minor league segment.
Yes, Starbucs on deck.
Let's do it. Before we get there, the show this week and every week is sponsored by Chris Gates Fitness. Chris is an online fitness coach from Pittsburgh, a huge Pittsburgh sports fan, and a friend of the show. Chris works with people all over town, all over the world to chase their fitness goals, whether it be to lose body fat, build muscle, or do both while improving your overall health and wellness. Chris helps people find a sustainable approach with diet and exercise to make progress that sticks. He works with me. You may have noticed I'm not at home right now. I am on the road. So I travel a whole lot for work, and I couldn't, I've lost 30 plus pounds here working with Chris, and I couldn't have done that just with how much I travel without kind of just planning my trips out and how we're going to attack those. So he's awesome. He shares a ton of information for free too on his social media accounts every single day. If you're looking for tips, tricks, and strategies to use with your diet and exercise, make sure you give him a follow. Just search for Chris Gates Fitness on literally any social media platform, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Threads, even. You'll find him everywhere. That's Chris Gates Fitness.
Awesome stuff. Everyone, welcome Anthony Murphy to the show from Substack Bucks on Deck. This is your segment, Starbucks on Deck. Let's talk about the minor leagues. What's up, Anthony?
What's going on? Another great morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, so let's hop into things here. I know we want to pick out, two standout hitters from the week, two standout pitchers for the week. We also had some injury news too that I'd like to just touch on. But yeah, let's talk about these hitters. What we see this week.
So, I mean, I guess we'll start off with the one name that I think everyone will be happy to hear had a better week, but Termarr Johnson actually went on a little bit of a tear over the weekend. I think he picked up 3 hits on Sunday, including his second home run of the season. He had 7 hits total on the week, 3 doubles, a home run, 5 walks, only 4 strikeouts. So looks like maybe he's starting to put things together. Still a ways to go with it. I don't think there's ever a point to where like I was incredibly concerned about him, because like a lot of the stuff was like he's doing a lot of the little stuff right. He doesn't chase bad pitches. So a lot of the stuff was like in zone contact issues and stuff like that. So like I don't think I was ever too concerned about him. Like obviously you don't want to see the 4th overall pick from a couple of years ago struggle the way put up the numbers that he's put up, but I kind of always felt like it was just a matter of time before he started stringing some hits together, because he's doing a lot of the right things. The ball just isn't like landing right for him, kind of thing.
Yeah, you mentioned he doesn't chase pitches, right? The walk rate is still incredible. It's over 21%. I guess the encouraging thing here is, the strikeout rate is down, because that was something where, if there was something you could pick on Termarr Johnson for, it was that strikeout rate just being too high. And it's still probably higher than you want to see someone, but for someone he's not even 20 years old yet, he's in high A. That strikeout rate is the lowest it's been in his entire career. It's now at 22%. He had a really good week with that too. He struck out 1 time in the last 5 games. So that's pretty encouraging. Batting average still below 200. You definitely want to see that creep up quite a bit. But I guess good signs from Termarr, huh?
Yeah, and like you obviously want to see results, and you definitely want to see results from a former first round pick. But when you're 18, 19, 20 years old and you're still in like the lower levels, you just want to see like signs of doing like the right things that will get you to the results. And he's shown the right things and all that stuff. And so it's probably only a matter of time before he had like a week like this. And like now the question is like, I always talk about like consistency with like the minor league players. So like now it's nice to have that week now, but now you got to build on it and continue to do it on a week to week basis kind of thing. So
awesome. Well, that's encouraging.
Yeah. So another name that I know a lot of Pirates fans like popped up. He had that really good year in the Dominican League. He didn't play so great last year in the Complex League, but the Marauders had some catcher injury issues this past week. Garrett Forster was already out with an injury. Justin Nickness went down with an injury, so they're down to 1 catcher. So they had to pull someone from the Complex League, and they brought Axiel Plaz up, and only played 3 games, but he I think right now, again, small sample size right now, obviously, but he's averaging like 105 miles an hour with the like exit velocity right now. Like he's absolutely like smoking the ball. Like his first batted ball in play was like 112 miles an hour on there, and he has 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. He had 3 hits in 3 games. And he has, so like I read a report on him before, like I had seen him, and they're worried about like his frame not being very projectable at like the next level. Like they don't know how much like power and like strength he can grow. But like I sat next to him at a Bradenton Marauders game, and like not a big frame, but he is like built very, very, and you can see it in like the exit velocity numbers already. He already had a couple in like the complex league that were 110 plus, and now he's had like 2 or 3 at 110 plus in Bradenton. So like, I mean, maybe the frame isn't great, but he's already smoking the ball at 18, 19 years old. So pretty.
Didn't his first home run go 440, by the way?
What's that?
Did his first home run go 440, by the way?
I think that was his second one on there. But
okay.
yeah, he is like, just the ball explodes off the bat. Like whether it's a ground out, or he puts it out of the park. Like if he makes contact with it, it gets hit very hard. And it was just impressive to see.
I'll say this: you mentioned 112 mile an hour exit velocity there, and I don't want to gloss over that, because I want to make sure people understand just how hard that is, especially for an 18-year-old kid. Jared Triolo's hardest hit baseball at the major league level is 108.1. Key Brian Hayes has not hit a ball over 110.4 this year. And Key Brian Hayes is somebody obviously who's known for hitting the ball pretty hard. That 112 number, that's, I guess, just put that in, I'm trying to put that in context just for everybody, where that's not a number that you typically see from an 18-year-old, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. And like, it's a small sample size, but like, I don't think you can have, there's a lot of questions that I had about him and stuff like that, because the Dominican numbers, those can be very misleading. If you're a very physically mature kind of kid or player down there in the Dominican, you're gonna dominate down there. And like, kind of seeing him when I was down in Florida, like, okay, well, he's got that kind of frame and mature body, that makes sense. And like, then you got to question whether that's gonna translate over kind of thing. And I mean, at least from what I saw there, like, he just, even like the 2 games that I saw of him in the complex league, I think he had a hit, but like everything was just smoked. Like he makes such great contact in there, and it's just been impressive.
Yeah, he's definitely on my radar after this week.
Yeah, definitely someone to watch. I don't know how long like Justin McNiss and Garrett Forster they're going to be out. I know Forster was out all week last week. He went on like the injured list like the middle of my trip the previous week. So I don't know how long they're going to be out. I do like that they got him like immediately involved. Like I kind of, in my head, I kind of figured that, like, well, I mean, they already have Omar Alfonso, and they're really high on him. So like, I thought there's a chance that he would just catch the rest of the weekend. But like, Plaz caught like 2 of the 3 games that he played. So it was nice to see him get like involved immediately. So
yeah, but very, very good signs. I know we had an episode over the off season, and I just kind of picked Axial Plaz as like the default whipping boy for someone who killed it in the DSL and then came over and struggled in the complex league. So yeah, he's still young enough, obviously, that there's time there. He's only 18 years old. So yeah, very encouraging signs. That's a hard hit ball. You can't just gloss over the fact that an 18-year-old hit the ball that hard. Like, that's not something that they do.
And he's consistently been doing. He's had multiple batted balls of 110 plus already in 3 games.
That's he had like
a ground out that went 100. I think the hardest hit ball he had over the weekend was a ground out too.
Yeah,
he's 4th on the team in home runs.
That's impressive. Again, like, that's not something you see out of that level.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good stuff. I guess let's shift gears. Let's go pitching. Top 2 pitchers from the week that we want to touch on.
Probably both of them are going to come out of Altoona, which the Altoona rotation kind of struggled a bit. There are a couple names that are still kind of struggling, but the last couple of weeks they've started to, the names that you kind of want to see get going have gotten going. Braxton Ashcraft had a really good week last week. He had the 7 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts on Tuesday. And, like when they do the Tuesday Sunday thing, they don't always push them too deep into like too high of a pitch count on Sunday. So he only threw 50 pitches on Sunday, but it was a total of 10 innings, only 1 earned run, and 14 strikeouts he had over the week. And the strikeouts are starting to come. Pinpoint control. I think he has like 3 or 4 walks or something like that all season or something. Like the walk rate is like incredibly low on there, but he had 5 walks.
5.
So So for this month, his ERA is only 2.14, and he has 3 walks and 21 innings. So like he's always has that control. It's just a matter of how the stuff was going to play deeper into games, because coming back from Tommy John last year, he didn't pitch more than 4 innings at all in a game. So now they're starting to work him a little bit deeper. The game on Sunday broke like a streak of like 4 or 5 games where he completed at least 5 innings each time out. So like he's pitching deep. He's starting to learn how to pitch deeper, how to get the outs to and then the stuff is translating a little bit more. So he's a guy that's definitely heading like in the right direction for it.
You mentioned how they were like very cautious with him last year, and this was like the one thing I was looking to see from him this year was like, hey, let's actually become a starting pitcher, right? Because he was starting games, but like you said, like he was going 3 innings for the most part, like every time out last year. They were being very cautious with him after that Tommy John surgery. So yeah, I guess that's the first thing that jumps out to me, because everything else kind of staying the same. Like he's still striking people out. The control is absolutely there. And yeah, you're seeing like 7 innings out of Braxton Ashcraft. That's not something that we're used to seeing, right? And so definitely encouraging. I know you don't like to speculate on promotions and such, right? But he's 24 years old. He's on the 40-man roster, and Indianapolis's pitching staff has been either plucked or they're no longer in the organization due to contract opt-outs with Eric Lauer. Like that rotation is kind of just pieced together with some bodies at this point. Is Ashcraft someone? I mean, obviously he's repeating Double-A because he only pitched 20 innings there last year. Is he kind of on the brink, you think, of a promotion to Triple-A?
Yeah, I think one of the last things you probably want to see from anyone making the jump from double to AAA would be, consistently pitching deeper in games and stuff like that. And like outside of Sunday, which for obvious reasons they kind of limit the pitch count on there. So yeah, he's a guy. Right now Altoona has 6, maybe 7 guys that you can argue that you want to see in the rotation right now. They have like Solomito coming. They had him come out of the bullpen over the weekend to, he's still working on some stuff and everything like that. So yeah. I mean, it's pretty jammed up. Right? I mean, even it's like trickling down to Greensboro right now, because you can make a case that Greensboro has like 6 or 7 guys you kind of want to see like stretched out in starting situations. So the only organization or the only level that really doesn't have that right now is AAA. So I think there are a couple guys on Altoona that you can make a case to slide up. I think they're going to want to probably see how the Bubba Chandler thing goes and get Solomito, whatever he's worked on and stuff like that. And then I could probably see a scenario where they start bumping a couple guys up. I don't think there's going to be too big of a push to start pushing guys up until like maybe the complex league is over. And then you can take a lot of those arms from the complex league and start sliding them up and stuff like that. I think we could probably see like our first big shuffle around then, which would be like late July, I think it is, when the complex league's over, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. I know like I said last week, just in particular. I mean, you had Skeens getting called up, but Priester going back down. Eric Lauer being opting out of his contract, but Domingo Germán did join Indianapolis this weekend as well. So there's a few arms there, but definitely the one level that's just kind of missing a complete intact rotation, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, so very good outings from Braxton Ashcraft. Who else we got on the mound?
The other guy, he threw. He just back up with Altoona, threw 4 innings, perfect innings. Didn't allow a hit or a walk. Hasn't allowed a hit so far since he's been out there. Thomas Harrington, what is it? 4 innings. What is it? He has 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk in 7 innings with Altoona so far this year. There's a tweet. Nola pointing out a tweet to me where they said he's averaging like 94.5 on the fastball right now. So that's I feel like that's maybe a tick up from where he was at last year. Harrington's a guy that I've been really high on going into it. I thought he had a little more upside than what people were originally talking about with it. He was a top 100 prospect on ESPN's rankings. Just the fastball is, the Pirates like the guys that have the fastball that plays up in the zone with the metrics and whatnot. And what Alex Stumpf had that article to where like Harrington kind of went over his fastball grip with Jared Jones, and that kind of let Jared Jones' fastball explode. So he's a fastball slider guy mainly. The fastball has been playing really good up in the zone, helps with the slider down, and just stepped in and has looked really good so far, really impressive, and can't still stretching him out a bit on there, just coming back from the injury. No need to really rush him. Like I said, they have multiple arms that they want to go extra or multiple innings and stuff like that. So it's easy to kind of work him in. So, but good start from him so far.
Yeah, so far so good. 7 hitless innings there in Altoona. You mentioned Alex's article, and I just in case you haven't, if you're listening or watching, go and find this article. It's super interesting. Because we keep talking about how Jared Jones's fastball is just so much more electric this year than it was last year, right? And I mean, Jared Jones is basically throwing a Thomas Harrington fastball is what he's doing. He's like, you know what? I'm throwing what you're throwing. And he started, him and Harrington got together over video games over, this offseason. They got together in offseason workouts, and Harrington showed him, his pitch grip, showed him how he threw his fastball. And Jared Jones was like, I'm going to try this. Right. And he liked what he saw. And obviously so do all of us. So if Harrington obviously doesn't have the explosion that Jones has, right? It's not that 97, 98 miles an hour, but it's the same pitch basically, right? Same pitch shape, and that's what has made Jared Jones's fastball so elite. The velocity is great, but just like the rise on it, right? It's an elite pitch. So yeah, if that's what we have to look forward to with Thomas Harrington, maybe just a couple ticks less. Yeah, I'm excited.
It works for Joe Ryan in Minnesota right now. Like Joe Ryan's a guy that like I feel like a lot of the Pirates in like the lower levels and stuff like that, I don't say like personally model their game after, but maybe it's something that the Pirates like look at. Like maybe they don't have the velocity, but if you're getting lots of life in the zone with it, like they're big extension guys, which is why they're really big on Bailey Falter. So like maybe they're not throwing 98, 99 like Jared Jones does, but if there's a lot of life on it and it's coming at you a lot quicker, or there's less time to get because of the extension, then it plays just as well sometimes with it.
Good stuff.
So Thomas Harrington is going to be the Pirates' Joe Ryan. That's what you're saying.
That's exactly what he did say.
I don't remember saying that, but sure.
Editing, my friend. Yeah, good stuff. And like you said, I mean, look at this Altoona rotation of Ashcraft and Chandler and Sean Sullivan and Chen and Solometo and Harrington. It's just like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of intrigue, and that's just Altoona. Like, we haven't gotten down to Greensboro to talk about those names. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of names on that team that's, gonna be recognized this year probably. So yeah, I mean, just so intriguing. Like you said, like Altoona's, they haven't been putting up like the results more or less, but certainly some intriguing guys and names. But yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room maybe a little bit. The guy that landed on the 7-day IL. Just anything from that, but yeah, Bubba Chandler. You hear forearm, I'm nervous.
Yeah, and like there's obviously been something like obviously whether they said that they're not overly concerned with it and they expect him back and whatnot, but like there's been obviously something off-ish with at least with his control and stuff like that. Like I mean he like that's kind of been his thing since he's gone pro, right? Control waiver here and there, but like this has been like 2 outings now in like his last like 5 that like walks pretty much cost him from like regardless if he left the game when he did his last time out, like he probably had like 1 batter left before they were going to pull him anyways. So which I was actually surprised that they let him face that hitter that they end up like coming out and checking him on him in the middle of. I thought once he walked that 5th batter that they were just gonna pull him at that point. So something's definitely a little more exaggerated with the control this year. Obviously I don't want to speculate or anything like that, but obviously that does add to like the anxiety with it, especially when you start talking like forearm stuff like that. And obviously he's you start talking about like Skeens and up in the majors, and he'll graduate soon. So you start talking about the guys who could be like your top prospect once all that happens, and he's probably at the top of the list there. So you're gonna want to be as cautious with him as possible. So he walks a lot. He feels something in his arm. Okay, well you're done, and you're gonna sit and chill a bit. So
yeah, when I mean, first off, there was the start on the 17th, so that would have been what, Thursday. His second start in 5 outings where he fails to get out of the first inning. Like you mentioned, the walks. He didn't give up any hits, but he walked 5 batters in that first inning, didn't complete it, and then yeah, Sunday, the report out that he's going to sit a little bit with forearm tightness. And forearm tight. Like I said, not speculating, but when pitchers require Tommy John, it usually starts with forearm tightness. Now,
especially Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that, and it really is just forearm tightness, and some rest will cure it, and he'll be back to normal. But yeah, Bubba Chandler, who I hadn't really thought of it that way, but yeah, once I mean, Paul Skeens is going to be graduating here after a few more outings. Bubba Chandler probably slots into that number 1 prospect for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So a lot of focus is on him, and you want to make sure that he's healthy for sure.
Yeah. And I remember they did something similar with Contreras back in 2021 when he was in Double-A. He had like the forearm tightness, and they shut him down for a couple months, and he was still able to come back and pitch, and like he still made his debut that year and stuff like that. So when you get arms like this, you got to be like we've seen with the Marlins, like things can go bad pretty quickly with that. So like if you have an opportunity to rest him and put in a break and just make sure everything's fine, then just do it, especially with an arm like Chandler and stuff like that. So
yeah, and then also, I mean, we can talk about a success story here. You mentioned Contreras when it comes to that, but I mean, Thomas Harrington was shut down during spring training, and that was
with shoulder.
That was his shoulder. So, which also normally isn't a great sign, but yeah. So it's sometimes rest is the cure here. Is kind of what I'm saying. So hopefully that's the case here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff. It was a good week though this week. I feel like
it was tough to come out with just 2. There's a lot of good even there's some more hitters and stuff like that. So it was actually a fairly good week, like hitting wise on there, which I know that's the big thing in the system right now, trying to find someone to hit. You know, you guys talking about like Tellez getting like time to move on from Tellez. Like Matt Gorski had a pretty good week last week, and he's a guy that can play first and stuff like that. If you didn't want to go the Jake Lamb route or something like that, Gorski's had a pretty good week last week. So and like he can do that and play really good center field too. So
true. Yeah, good. Well, like you said, a big week. A lot of guys talk about. So if you want to hear more, right, you can go over and check out Anthony Murphy, Bucks on Deck, and you guys have the podcast as well. Talk more, so check them out to hear the rest. But yeah, really appreciate the insight here today.
No problem. No problem.
All right,
Awesome.
thanks, Murphy.
Happy to get my day started super early. That's always fun.
You're welcome.
Nah, we appreciate you. Have a good one. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the Bucks on Deck Substack, make sure you do that. It's great stuff. You can get stuff just delivered right to your email every single day. If you're interested in the entire organization, top to bottom, you cover everything from the Dominican all the way up to the majors. So check it out. Check it out if you haven't.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Murphy.
Yes, it's been a good morning. Positive talk about the
Good
Pirates.
morning. He did
outside of Rowdy. Positive talk about the Pirates minor leagues.
Yeah, he mentioned Gorski, and honestly, it was a really good week for everybody in Indianapolis. I think I feel like everyone in Indianapolis hit like 5 homers last week.
And say, I guess apparently when he faced Toledo's pitching, it turns out to be very, very good.
Yeah, like Toledo is the answer to all of your hitting, apparently.
Right?
Because everyone in Indianapolis just had an incredible week.
Yeah. Fixed Henry Davis.
Yeah, he's hitting homers and he's getting hit a lot too. I think Indians Twitter account put out that he's played like 11 games and gotten hit by like 8 pitches already.
I want to look that up actually.
He has 8 hit by pitches in 11 games.
I know it was 5, like almost right away.
Yeah, he's at 8. He got hit by a pitch.
Incredible.
Just this week, he had 3, and that was after having 5 the previous week. So yeah, the dude is he's picking up where he left off when it comes to the hit by pitches.
Yeah, 440 on base percentage. He's walked 4 times in 50 plate appearances.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, so again, good stuff. Let's look forward though, because that's what we need to do. The Pirates are playing pretty decent balls. We talked about, we're kind of encouraged on things. They play the Giants. Now they're off today. Cool. Off today. So again, get your Rowdy Tellez off the team. Make sure you do what you need to do to get ready for this. But the Giants, they're playing a 3-game series. Giants they're hurt. They're hurt pretty bad. Also, I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates have already played the Giants. We've talked about them a little bit beforehand, but still without Blake Snell, the big dog as far as pitching. We know how good Blake Snell can be, but still without him. But like, it just seems like everyone's hurt for them. Conforto, got Patrick Bailey. Yeah, I guess it's a good time to also face the Giants.
Oh, just like the Cubs too. The Cubs had a lot of injuries, which lined up nicely. But yeah, you mentioned Patrick Bailey's out. Nick Ahmed is out. Michael Conforto's out. Jung-Hoo Lee is out for the rest of the year. Austin Slater is out. So you've got a lot of their guys who would typically be starting, right? They're out. So this San Francisco lineup, there's still some pretty good players. Like Matt Chapman's having a good year. Tyro Estrada's having a good year. I know we talked about him the last time that we faced the Giants, but those two, Lamont Wade Jr. doing okay. He's actually doing really well. I wouldn't mind seeing if the Giants are willing to give up on the season and willing to trade Lamont Wade Jr. I feel like that would be a really, 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 really good fit on this Pirates team. But I digress. Blake Sable has kind of moved into more of our old friend Blake Sable. He's been getting some everyday playing time really at catcher for the Giants as well. So yeah, we're gonna see a little bit different team. Marco Luciano has been promoted, one of the top prospects in all of baseball. I think he's actually, I guess he used to be. He's kind of fallen off. So shame on me for not noticing the fall off for Marco Luciano. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit different team than what we saw a couple weeks ago. And when we talked about earlier in the show about how this team's in the thick of things for that last wild card spot. Well, this is one of the teams that they're in the thick of things with, right?
Right.
Like it's Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, Mets, Nationals, like kind of all grouped together there, within a game of each other. So yeah, it's early, it's May, but yeah, you want to beat the teams that are right around you in the standings. And right now the Pirates and Giants are pretty much neck and neck when it comes to the National League.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I was alluding to, like, a lot of injuries that are popping up for the Giants. So I mean, they're hurt. Look at the pitching matchups. And this is the thing is, again, like every week, I feel like we're going to have this conversation because the pitching has been very, very strong. But okay, Martin Perez is he's coming off his worst start of the season, right? But he's been pretty strong for the most part of the year. He starts it off, and then it's right back to Jones and Skeens. And like how you talked about last week, like when you have those two guys, you can't expect a win every time, right? But you feel confident, like, hey, you can creep out a win here. So there's those two guys facing this Giants lineup that's, missing some guys, missing some dudes. I mean, again, like 2 out of 3, you can look at and say, I felt good that this team could take 2 out of 3 from the Giants, which, like you mentioned, is pretty big because they have to start stacking some wins. That they're kind of in the thick of things, right? But like, it was a really, really, really bad month, and like if they can start stacking some wins, they can definitely kind of start like cement themselves as they're getting close to this trade deadline. And maybe that's how they get Lamont Wade Jr. because they're in the thick of things. And Ben Terrence says, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Wednesday's start because we mentioned Blake Snell's been out, right? But Blake Snell's starting Wednesday against Jared Jones. So
is okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw
Jared Jones. So Blake Snell,
Ooh.
Jared Jones on Wednesday is going to be must-see TV for sure.
Okay.
Logan Webb lines up as the Giant starter on Tuesday. He's had a really, really, really good year.
Yes.
And then you look at Paul Skeens versus Mason Black. You obviously feel really good about that start. So, yeah, if you can do the job on Thursday, which they haven't been able to win a day game, I think all year, a getaway day. I guess yesterday they did, so that was cool.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a weekday day game though. They've not had much success, so hopefully Paul Skeens turns that around. But yeah, Blake Snell, Jared Jones on Wednesday. That's going to be fun.
Okay, so again, I do take what I said back. I didn't know he was starting, so that does give them some things. So okay, the pitching is actually pretty good on their side as well. But Blake Snell is coming up to injury, right? So I mean, we don't know how effective he'll be, but that's certainly that's showtime. Jared Jones, Blake Snell. Wednesday. That's a big game. Because Logan Webb has been pitching really well and like really, really well recently also. Or Martin Perez has kind of trended the other way like his past few starts. But again, like this offense could help that out. And the way the Pirates offense has been trending right these past week and so I'm encouraged by this. I really am looking forward to this series, like if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it should be a fun series. The team's playing well. You hope the offense can get rolling here and keep it going. The power that we've seen out of the offense this past week, hopefully it can continue.
Right.
But yeah, you feel really
PNC
good about
Park
us
now, not over there. So maybe something goes over the wall.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, like Jared Jones and Paul Skeens pitched this series. So it's hard. It's really hard to not feel good about your chances to win a series with those two dudes going.
Right.
they're just Jones this season has been absolutely electric, and what Paul Skeens did against the Cubs on Friday, just it's so hard to even describe how he looked. He was completely dominant in every single aspect. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those 2 games in particular. Jones and Skeens, like, must see TV this week.
I just want to add this there too, just to add on to the Paul Skeens thing. Like, I was semi nervous about that game, just because. And here, I mean, think about it, like, they're seeing him again. Like, that was the second time they faced him in a week. That they saw this stuff. It's still kind of fresh, and he did that. He did that. So now I'm like, okay, if that's what Paul Skeens is, like, sayonara, San Francisco Giants. Like, this is the first time you're facing him. Good luck.
You know what? No one had a chance against Paul Skeens on Armed Forces Weekend. He's just,
You know what? Yes.
you know what? It wasn't. He had some extra motivation there. He was wearing the special hat. Like, Cubs had no shot. No shot whatsoever. Point. And especially that pregame comment to Hannah Mears, where she was like, how are they gonna, what if they adjust to you? And he was just like, go ahead and adjust. Good luck. Like, oh God. I didn't know Paul Skeens had that in him. The confidence and just the way that those two, Jared Jones and Paul Skeens, carry themselves with is, I love it. I love every bit of it. And you know what? As long as they keep backing it up on the field, teams are going to hate those two guys so much. And I love having players on your team that other people hate. Like, we all know those players on other teams. Yeah, like, we all know those players on other teams where it's like, oh my God, I hate them. But you would love to have them on your team. Well, Jared Jones and Paul Skeens are those dudes. Like, other teams are going to hate them. And guess what? They're Pirates.
Yes.
We got them.
Yes. I can't, again, like, going back to I had no idea Paul Skeens had that in him. I would assumed he was just going to be the guy, like, hey, Lee will just, just like this, the natural, this play. And he just came out, I was like, good luck. You hearing that? This is his first week in the majors, his second start in the majors. And he's saying, good luck. Oh boy. I am so happy they drafted Paul Skeens now.
I love it. I love it. Yes, I love every
Paul Skeens and Jared Jones. I mean, that's the duo of Major League Baseball right now. I love it. So, yeah, good luck. Good luck, San Francisco Giants. All right. Well, with that said, I guess, anything else we want to discuss here?
No, I need to get some coffee somewhere.
Sounds good. Well, then let's get out of here. So, as you guys know, of course, off day today. We'll be back tomorrow with a post game for the first Giants game. And before we leave, as always, like, subscribe if you haven't. They have the memberships here. Go ahead and join. Check them out. We have the different tiers starting at 99 cents. Some cool perks. And then the tailgate, June 22nd, Kutch bobblehead night. Jim was doing some maths. Maybe
yeah, it's like a month out, right? So there's a lot of things that can happen. But if Paul Skeens gets one extra off day, like one extra rest day between now and then, it's going to be Paul Skeens day for the NS9 tailgate. So just the way it lines up.
So get your RSVPs in now, so you get your sandwiches from Permanis, right? Sponsored, food provided by Permani Brothers. So yeah. So check that stuff out. That link's also in the bio here. So we will be back tomorrow. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.